Welcome to the FrequentSee Network. Frequent, capital S, capital E, self-empowering experts giving you a self-empowering experience, sharing authentic connections about sound, light, energy, frequency, vibration, and most of all, love. There is nothing more authentic than being the love that you are. You are invited to join us in our freaky side of life, where you can change your frequency and upgrade your life. We are 4 generations of women empowering you to love your life even more. Here we flow.
Well, hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us here as we kick off our Thanksgiving week for 2025 with the frequency forecast with Kristen Wall. And we like to get her to start that off so that we can have a conversation about the frequencies of today and what's to come. All right, Kristen, welcome. Thanks for coming in and sharing our frequency forecast with us.
Of course, Cynthia. It's always exciting. I love this time of year. And what is coming up in the frequency forecast is we have hips that are really online, and they have been for the past month, maybe 5 weeks, but really coming online today, along with our chest. So what does that mean for us? What do we look out for? Maybe how can we balance these frequencies? Well, hips are all about doing and moving. So maybe you felt like you can't do or move forward in a certain way. And so we are going to use languaging to reverse. To reverse anything, we look to the word reverse. Re means again, verse, to re-speak. So we're going to use language to balance this out of if there's issues with our hips moving forward or doing, we can use languaging that helps us shift that into moving forward and doing. So something like I confidently move forward doing what my heart directs me to do. I enjoy doing what I love. I enjoy moving forward in what I love. I give myself permission to move forward, just as simple as that. So those are some decrees that might help move the needle into balancing this strong energy, this strong hip energy that's coming online right now. And let's take a peek at what chest also means. We've got a strong chest energy coming up. These are issues of feeling protected and safe in your love. So maybe partnership might be a little bit challenged. It might show up in self-love, just love coming online and questioning love in our life. That's what chest is here to help us to remember and translate and consciously speak. I am secure in my love. I am protected in my partnerships. You think about chest area, and it's all about protecting those organs that are very, very vital for ourselves, our heart, our liver, our pancreas, all of those vital organs. And so chest is going to, how we reverse and balance this for ourselves with our languaging would be something like I choose to enthusiastically love no matter why, no matter what reason. I just choose to enthusiastically love. I love with all my heart. And that's always a fun one. I love with all my heart. I remember for my own, one of my first experiences with conscious language, and I had some issues with jaw, and how quickly just adding love into as the energy that moves the needle, that I just chose to love what I expressed, and I could feel the energy shift from my jaw. It just dispersed. It was amazing. And I still remember. So love is the only true motion. So we're going to add love. I love with all my heart. I am secure in love. And my love protects others. So those are some great languagings for what's coming online in our frequency forecast.
That is, I love what you just shared, and our frequency is having an effect on the hips, which I would imagine has an effect on our lower back as well. And then when you talk about the chest, I was thinking ribs. So just so everybody knows that we also work with mastery systems. Kristen and I studied with um, Robert Tennyson Stevens in mastery systems, and he came out his last book, well, close to his last one. There was one other, which is imagining um, outcomes, which is absolutely divine. And so we also take a look at the frequency forecast from the frequencies of what's going on. From who also Kristen and I studied with is Sherry Edwards with Sound Health. And she helped in developing and understanding and hearing and having an experience with the frequencies that were coming in from the cosmos and from the plants, from our ears. So much about that we'd love to share and all of you to get to know. And so I just wanted to share with you what we also go and take a look at, that in the frequency of those things, such as the chest and the hips, we look up, body signals and things like that are what are called sacred body language translation. And the book that we recommend and that we're happy to help you get is called My Word Made Flesh. And there's a one that's out that also works along with essential oils. And I'm just going to, My Word Made Flesh, and by Robert Tennyson Stevens. So many of you are listening to this. And so I want to make sure that you hear exactly what that is. And we'll be providing links with this video or with this podcast and to share with you. So in that, what you shared, I just wanted to go to ribs as well, because I know ribs at this time, because I have a few people having chest issues, some rib injuries and things like that are really showing up. And so the ribs, issues of feeling protected and loved. Okay. And you always look at, you can look at also the left side, right side, which has to do with whether it's a male, female and a frequency that is also in there. And there's 2 decrees that it recommends, to help put us, that these decrees are like a frequency that we're giving ourselves with our voice, with our words, and all of those things. So know that when you say these and you continue to say them, you're giving yourself a beautiful frequency to balance and harmonize, and not so that the frequencies that are kind of in discordance, that are bringing us into helping us return our strength, strength returning. And so the 2 that I have for ribs as well, and I'm bringing these in because I do have clients and friends who have been dealing with chest, hips, lower back, and ribs these days. Those are the 4 that I'm really seeing a lot of. And I am divinely protected and loved at all times. I am secure in all my interactions. So these decrees are so huge because we are coming into a time, and we have been in a place where so many people have been feeling unsafe in their world. And I'm seeing a lot of people who are stuck in that fight or flight freeze loop. And they just can't get out of it. They're in it 24/7, so that it's absolutely breaking down, and the body is really under a lot. So we want to give you some beautiful language, so these decrees, to say to yourself over and over again, because then we have a little disruption. We disrupt that flow of those things that are, that we're saying to ourselves that are harming us. And so it's really going to be wonderful for you to get back into and ask yourself, have I ever experienced love before? How do I have I where in my life do I feel safe, secure, supported, valued, and loved? Those 5 things are what I share with all of my friends and clients and everything. That if you felt all 5 of those things, you'd really put yourself in really a beautiful place of harmony. Your harmonic heart. Your harmonic heart is the solution to the world's problems. Because when you're in balance, guess what you do? You are in a frequency that you're going to bring more into your life in your frequency, as well as you're going to be sharing that frequency, and it will be contagious for others. You'll be the tuning fork that tunes everybody to a higher octave. So that's what I'm desiring to help share and help people understand about that. And I know Mia, she works with tuning forks and the bowls, the sound therapy and everything. So I'd love for Mia to come in a little bit about that. And then I know Josie has some really wonderful things to share with us, from where her experience, her wisdom comes from as well. So Mia, what do you think? What do you feel?
I'm more curious about the frequencies. With the chest coming online, I think it's interesting because I know a lot of people often experience respiratory stuff this time of year and different colds are going on. So I wonder if that could be something that's also, if it's in strain or, then maybe that's part of why people seem to have these seasonal colds and stuff. And so yeah, that makes me interested. This is the first time in a while that I don't feel direct, immediate, like I'm experiencing these frequencies today, but that's good. I feel like I've been feeling really grounded lately. But yeah, I'm just really interested about the chest one for me.
And I would say for you, Mia, because you've been a real big service with you keeping your own frequency high, that higher octave, to be there to support others. Us doing those kind of things, that's that higher octave, that higher frequency that you can be of service to your family, your grandmother in particular, and all those things. When we are of service, it's amazing how well balanced we are, because we have to keep up, right, and balance in order to be there to support. And so I just want to bring that in, and I know that's something that you're working with right now. And then Susan, we let Josie in here. I will address also a frequency that does come in very largely during this time, that does cause these issues that you were asking about. And I know Kristen will probably have something to contribute to that as well. So Josie, how are you? And what are you feeling about this time with this frequency forecast we just came forward with?
Well, as always, it's very apropos for me, but particularly at this time, because I just finished a 3-week bout with chronic condition, and getting choked often at least 4 times. It was very dangerous. Once I had to have the Heimlich. So it's very fresh for me to apply this in ways that will be helpful for me, and then I'll be able to share that with others.
You have been going through quite the what you said, 3 weeks, about 3 weeks.
3 weeks of cough,
Mm.
and sometimes 2 hours at a time at night. It was extreme, and couldn't get it taken care of for any quicker than that. And it's left me with a lot of side effects, blurry eyes, and extreme imbalance and weakness. So I'm going to be recovering for a while here.
Yes. And, interesting, also in My Word Made Flesh, they have, you can go to certain areas of the body to look, and then they have body signals, what is going on in that area. So we're talking about chest, and she was talking about coughing. So I'm going to that area, and I'm going to look up coughing? What is going on there? And it talks about automatic, so engagement of will, an automatic engagement of will. Wow. I mean, let's think about that. I'd love to have everybody come in and and just hear what Josie, when you hear that, and the decree that it's saying is going to be really healthy for you is, I reclaim my own will. And I would imagine you being in the situation, where you're at, and where we get to when we are older, right? Where we're ending up in some places maybe that we may not desire to be, and other people are making choices for us, and we're not really, feeling as if we are talking about managing our own will. I don't know what word to use for that. And so I reclaim my own will. How does that feel, Josie? Can you say that? That you feel like saying that right now?
Sure. I reclaim my own will.
And how does that feel?
It reminds me that I have a lot of issues that I can address with this kind of thing. I just forget when I'm in that kind of stress. I sometimes forget to apply them. So I'll be more cognizant of that.
Yeah. So, how do you feel as far as having, engaging with your will, and being able to stand up for yourself? Is that, how, I just want input here from the girls, Mia and Kristen too. What do you feel about engaging of will, an automatic engagement of will? How much do we give up our will throughout our lives? And I would imagine where Josie is, um, do we start losing that opportunity to engage our own will? What do you think? I think this is a great subject to talk about, because I'm seeing so many people give up, their will, and I'd love to see them reclaim their will. Anybody want to speak to that?
I like the automatic part. I just think it's really interesting how, like in a lot of sound baths, I always tell people, like, drop into your heart and just, show it some gratitude for pumping without you even thinking about it. Your breath for going on, like obviously our breath shortens and it's not as intentional as we'd like, but your body is automatically going to take care of you. And I like, for me, what's coming up is just like sometimes when we're not being an active participant in that, that's maybe when things get a little more challenging. But when we really drop in and appreciate our body for all the things that it does, automatically engaging will, then if we just say, hey, I want to participate in that and I'm going to do whatever I can to make it even easier and even better, what an upgraded experience we would have, opposed to when oftentimes we're fighting our own will and our body's telling us things. Hey, I don't like this experience, and it's telling us things and we're just not listening, and our body's still just automatically engaging will, and we're fighting it instead of listening to our body and moving the way that it's asking us to in the world.
That's wonderful. I love that contribution and what you just said there. And I think a lot of people out there who are listening to us, it gives them an opportunity to really notice and love on their bodies, to know that so many things are automated, and how much we actually disconnect that automation by questioning it and going, oh, I can't. The word I can't comes in, cancel, clear, instead of I can do this, and I love you, body. Thank you for doing this. And having that conversation, it's so important for us to help our bodies be in a frequency to support the automation of the God-given gift that we have with our bodies already. And how many things outside of ourselves have that everybody says that you need to do actually instead disengages the automation, takes our own power away, our own ability to do to allow the body to do what it naturally would do, and it ends up getting turned off in order for something that we put inside of our bodies, outside of our bodies, in order to take the place. And then you've lost your free will right there by letting something else take over what's going on with your own well-being. What do you think about that, Kristen?
Yeah, I was just looking at the connection between, because when I think about willpower, I think about our chi, our life force, our energy. And in traditional Chinese medicine, if you look up, you've got your Wei Qi, your vital energy, and that's your engine. It's a metaphor for your engine. But the word ZHI, and I choose to know if I'm even pronouncing that correctly, is willpower, and that's the steering wheel. So it's almost like your chi funnels into your will to have direction. And if we feel that we are unable to hold the steering wheel any longer, which, it's inevitable at certain parts of our life, depending on the cycle of life and where we're at, and letting it be okay and still loving where we're at in our life, and um, maybe guiding the steering wheel or telling somebody how to direct the steering wheel, but just knowing where our place is at in life, to where we feel that we are still have an active role in with our steering wheel. And I believe it's more of a feeling, of just um, believing that we still do have that control. I like to use questions to elicit a healing response. So a question of, do I feel like I've given my steering wheel away or my will away? And how much can I reclaim? Like what is that good balance for where I'm at right here, right now? And what is understandable for where I'm at?
Yes, yes. Oh, whoo, that's so good. That I think this supports and helps a lot of people in understanding what we're talking about, in bringing in that will. And so, Josie, how's that feeling for you, since you're our main poster gal today, and bringing in what you've gone through the last 3 weeks with the coughing and the chest stuff, and all that you've been having, as we're moving into our wisdom, be time of our lives and everything, your brilliance, and having this new experience every day. I mean, we are brand new every day, and here you are, gosh, we're going into 2026, and Josie's coming into her 99th year. And look where she is. And yes, the challenges that we go through as we are moving into, wisdom is having all of this experience. I had a web TV show called Adventures of the Heart, Building Wisdom Through Experience. And, Josie was on my show a few times, through that time. And I really feel that's what we do with our hearts. We're building wisdom through experience. And so I know Josie has that wisdom through her experience. And that's what I believe why she actually has that vitality that she has today, and that tenacity that she's had all of her life, is why I feel she's just so vibrant for us, and in this, at this time. And I know she is having those challenges. So now I will step back and allow Josie to answer and to give us more feedback on herself here.
Well, I think it's a matter of carrying your toolkit with you, and being aware that you have options, and that you do have the opportunity to express your will with your own body. And it's not a fight or flight thing. It's a let's get organized thing. And how can my attitude, my knowledge, be available for me so that I remember in my angst of coughing so much or whatever it is that you're having an issue with your body, being able to get in touch with it. And it's almost like, ring, ring, let's call in the troop for the help. And be able to remind myself, and of course be able to help others to think about that, how much we have to be able to heal ourselves with the proper knowledge and the contact with the higher being.
Oh, yes. You used so many beautiful connections and words there. And one of them that really stood out for me is remember. And Kristen, I know she's our word smith here and everything. And remember, that comes in a lot with a lot of the conscious language work about us remembering, like reconnecting, right? Is remember, Kristen?
Yes, yes. Remembering that we're all one. We're all connected and remembering. Yes.
And that brings us back to so many things. When we get into hips, the movement and flow, the hips also especially for the feminine, for female, that's, we're birthing into something brand new is what I think about when I think about hips and having that movement, or they can't go anywhere. They're just kind of stuck, and they're so in our first chakra, if we go into chakras, and Mia, you probably have a little more education around, and wisdom around that. So I'd like to hear about, I'm thinking of our first chakra, and the base chakra. So what do you have to say about that?
Our root chakra is amazing. We love our root chakra red, and it's really grounding and like our foundation. And then our sacral chakra, our second chakra, is really our house of creation and where our hips sit. So our root is going to be like more at the base of your tailbone, your connection to earth, to who you are, to your foundation. And then your sacral is right in between your hips, where, your sexual organs are in all creation and a lot of your ideas and creating of who you are, which I think is really interesting too, that the hips are coming online, just coming into this season. And obviously new beginnings can happen any day that we choose. But I know a lot of people, spend this time of year kind of figuring out what kind of new beginnings they want to have in the new year and how they want to show up in this new chapter. So it is interesting that the hips would come online right now and empower us to find ease and joy and love with how we're moving forward into this new chapter and this new year.
Yes, and we're talking creation, too. That's our creative place of being. Wow. And I do believe as we come into the colder months, where we are in America here. In our I'm in Colorado. Mia, you're in California. Kristen, Arizona, and Josie's in Texas. Look at that. We're all over here in the West, I believe. And well, Texas is down, in the South, but I feel like it's a kind of a Western type thing too. But, we coming into the colder months and everything kind of goes into hibernation. Everything goes into, kind of taking care of things so that they can bloom again. Right. And it's, so I can imagine the hips, it's a time to rest and recharge and recover in order for us to be in full creation for this time that we're going to move into spring, and to renew and be brand new so we can really come out being as bright as can be. So I, feel like taking the time to rest, and listen to what the body's asking of you. Because if you are having this discomfort at this time, it is speaking to you about rest. Take it easy. Gets darker so much earlier and everything, and it is a time for you just to go within and take that time so that you know yourself, so you can learn to communicate and nourish your body, love on it, give it that time to say, I just love you so much, and give yourself that love, and the body, what it desires to have. Every single cell is active within you with trillions and trillions of cells. It's important for the body to know how loved it is. And every time we do something brand new to care for ourselves, in whatever wellness place, you being here and listening to beautiful music or our podcast, receiving new information, take that time for any of those kind of things that nourish you, that you feel that you've missed out on, that might give you the information and knowledge and the wisdom that you're needing to care for yourself even more deeply. And that brings me back into saying, breathe deep into your heart and love yourself even more today than you did yesterday. And just really feel that. I mean, I had a friend say to me that when I first said that to her, she didn't know what that meant. And now she knows what that means, because, she didn't realize that she wasn't loving on herself. And I fine-tuned that, love yourself even more today than you did yesterday. Because I had someone, when I said that to her, she goes, I do love myself. I do love myself. And she was really, defensive. And I wasn't saying that she didn't love herself at all. And that wasn't even in my language. Yet it set off something within her, because she wasn't feeling well, and she wasn't taking care of herself. And a lot of people do get defensive, when they realize they haven't been taking care of themselves. So I really choose to use a language to enhance our ability to say, hey, it's okay, where you are in the past and everything. There's no right or wrong about what you've been doing or have done or anything. Let's just come to this moment and be even happier, love ourselves even more, and just know that we did our best. I do my best, and my best is good enough, and I can start right here from this moment, and I can choose to make it even better and not negate ourselves as if we've done something wrong. So I really want to bring that in strong, especially when we're, having issues with the hips. Creation mode. How can we create and be fulfilling our lives and creating a beautiful, happy life when we're giving ourselves a hard time about what we've done in the past and negating ourselves?
Well, to me, it's recharging. And I know that we see advertisements all the time, advertisements on economical rechargers for our electronic devices. And if we picture that as we have that internal recharging ability, and if we don't tune into it and get on the right signal to address that, we lose part of that power. So if you just had a way of that flashing before your eyes before you start fighting against your whatever the issue is, that's a good reminder for me.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Thank you, Josie. Yeah.
I love the recharging. And this time of year is so when I recharge. We have today, when we're recording this, like less than 30 days. I think we have about 27 days until December 21st, which is when our days will start getting a little bit longer again. So I know a lot of people don't love that it gets dark early, but it's really fun when you make it fun and you know, really enjoy all of the shorter days that you can go home early and rest and recharge. And if you focus on just planting a lot of seeds right now, then the new year is always really, really good. So I like that a lot. And I just think it's so cool how Josie is moving into the higher octave of the frequencies with the chest right now. And I'm sure a lot of people are. Maybe some people are kind of feeling the strain of it, but I'm sure a lot of people are getting over some congestion that they had. So it's always fun to see it playing out in real time.
Yes, we love to see strengths returning and all of your brilliance that comes through. Brilliance for me is wisdom plus light. And you guys are shining bright. Now, Kristen, I'm glad we saved you for last because I have a question for you. What is to come in these next few weeks as we're coming into December and the, the winter solstice, right? And the Christmas and gosh, all of these things, these activities and, Hanukkah, all these things that are available for whatever place that we all are celebrating from. What do we have in those energies for people to be aware of? And
Yeah, so in the future frequency forecast, it's always great to look forward to, but we've got some news coming online, which going along with what Mia talked about, these shorter and darker days as yin energy is turning inward. It's going to be a lot about forgiveness. So searching inward for the different areas and things, experiences that require a little bit more forgiveness. And that looks like a majority of it. So we've still got hips online for the next few weeks and chest. And so all of these are going to come into play
okay.
stronger and stronger.
Yeah,
That's why I use languaging now.
Yes. So again, we'll be sharing a link along with our podcast we're having here today on My Word Made Flesh and some of those books that would help you with conscious language and many other things here. So there's one thing that I will just say a little bit about because Mia had asked, notice that during this time when we call it the flu season or COVID season now and all these other things, know that when it gets colder, we go inside. Now, it was really interesting, Kristen, bringing up, it's time for us to go inside of you, okay, and really feel what feels good. But notice too, when we go inside, we're disconnecting a lot from the electromagnetic field of the earth outside, which is so important for us. And then we're in around more electromagnetic radiation, the unhealthy electromagnetic frequencies, okay? And so really you're inside more, so you're disconnected from the frequencies that are healthy for you, that we need for biological momentum, the movement and flows of the body. And so radiation poisoning is usually the culprit for the expression of these cold and flu and COVID. The symptoms of radiation poison are exactly the same as COVID and, and flu and cold. There's it's just your immune is being compromised. Your immunity, your immune system is being compromised by being inside, away from that healthy electromagnetic field. So make sure you're getting yourself, plenty of, some sunlight, get yourself, in baths, sea salt and magnesium, hydrogen peroxide in your bath, things that give you that oxygen and ground you. Just find those things that provide you those frequencies. And what the thing that provides that frequency the most is loving yourself, caring for yourself, going inside you and loving on yourself, because those are the frequencies that actually cause the movement of flows of the body. And we have an impact on our own. We have a body of water, and it is 99.9% molecular. Okay, the molecular structure of our body is 99.9% water. Okay, 70%, when they talk about, the physical water, but we are all water, and water carries current, and it's every frequency is information and data coming in, and the water is what takes it in. That is the mother. The frequencies, the information and data is the masculine coming into the feminine, the water, and this is creation. Okay, so when you get information and data, clean it up, okay, with the water, because the water is going to respond to the higher octave, and that's you loving yourself and allowing yourself to be loved. Okay, receiving, that's a feminine energy. So be receptive to also people maybe even complimenting you, take it in, and maybe if it feels uncomfortable. I know Josie, that's one of the things that she always talked about, how hard it was for her, because she was taught that that's being, there was a problem with that. And that was the sad thing for me to hear in her generation of what they had done to, take humanity to lower themselves and not feel as if we are important to this world. Every single heartbeat that's out there, we have the same frequency equivalent with the electromagnetic field of the earth. We are one. We help share and give life to one another. And so the more happier and more loved that you feel, and the joy that you feel within you, is going to make an impact on this world way beyond what we could ever imagine. So I'm asking all of you, take care of yourselves, love on yourselves, go into knowing that you are safe, secure, supported, valued, and loved. And just bring that and make it so. Reclaim your will and say, I will this. I claim this for myself.
I love it. It was a good frequency update. Hopefully we all feel empowered to move with more grace and ease.
Voting your victory.
Thank you. So thank you so much for joining us here at the FrequentSee Network with our self-empowering experts, giving you a self-empowering experience. Have a beautiful day, everyone.